Today's video is about people who refuse to level up and try to pull you down for leveling up. They try to stop and destroy your level up. So when I wanted to do some research for this video topic, and a lot of other YouTubers that I watch also have discussed this topic, I thought, let me pull up that Biggest Loser research study and talk about that. And what I found was there was a study done in Britain, and this story was featured on the Daily Mail, that according to this research study, for every 14 pounds that you lose while on a diet, you lose 2 friends. So I thought this was crazy. That is just insane. Those were definitely fake friends that are not happy for you. So why is this? Why can your friend not be your friend anymore if you lose 14 pounds? It's ridiculous. These people are not even your friend. These are fake friends that are not happy for you. Because I know for a fact, I've had friends before that dropped a bunch of weight, and I was like, wow, that's so awesome. How did you do it? One of my old coworkers, I remember, dropped like 30 pounds and she looked fantastic. And I walked up to her, I was like, how did you do it? She said she brought her lunch and just ate really, really healthy and did a lot of walking. And so I thought that was fantastic. And never once did I think, well, I'm not going to speak to you anymore. How dare you lose 30 pounds? But this is ridiculous. This is how people are. In fact, I remember hearing a few years ago on that Biggest Loser show, if you remember that show, where people would lose a huge amount of weight. And one in particular was kind of like the comedic, jovial, fat guy. And I think he weighed like 450. And I think he won the Biggest Loser. It was one of the final contenders. And I was so shocked that he basically lost all his friends. First of all, I think he became very wealthy. I can't remember if his prize was $1 million or what the prize was. He had a great body now. He had all these endorsements and sponsorships. And now he's also a public figure and a celebrity. He said he lost all his friends or most of his friends. And this happens all the time. Like, I don't understand why people will try to stop your level up. And I remember even, I had an ex-partner. And I remember, because when I was younger, I was really, really thin. And so when I was really, really thin, later I had went through school and I had been working like this one job that had all these hours. I think I was working like, 50, 60 hours or something like that, and commuting. And I ended up gaining some weight because I just wasn't getting to the gym and eating right. And I was eating some, junk food for lunches and things like that. And I think too, I had tried to be a vegetarian. And so I was eating so many carbs and I was gaining a lot of weight. And so I had some friends that met me, during that little bit of weight gain I had, which was like maybe 20 or 30 pounds. So the interesting thing was, after a while, I thought, you know what? I had to go out and I got a new suit. And I remember it was a big size. Like, I had normally worn pretty much a size 4 or 6 my whole life. And I'm 5'11". So I was really skinny, just naturally. And it wasn't until I was, I think, like 23 that the weight and pounds started sneaking up on me. And I thought, I can't just do all you can eat anymore and eat a whole cheesecake and eat nachos and have 13 sodas that are not diet a day and all the other junk food that I was eating. I was like, maybe my metabolism is catching up. Like, my aunt used to always tell me that metabolism is going to catch up with you someday. And she was right, it did. They were trying to say that I need to eat more healthy and stop, eating all this food. But I literally was stick thin for many, many years and didn't even have to worry about it. Plus, I was always in sports, so I never thought about it. I just ate all I wanted to. But now the weight had been sneaking up on me. And now I suddenly had to buy a suit. I remember getting one that was a size 16. And then even 118, I was like, oh my God, that is the biggest size I've ever had in my entire life. This is absolutely ridiculous. I have to do something, because I am not going to go out and purchase a whole new wardrobe, because I had a business job 9 to 5 and I had invested in multiple suits and they were all like $400 and $500 a piece for my business job. And now I'm not going to go out and buy a bunch of big old fat size 14 and 16 suits. So I thought, I'm going to go on the weight loss journey just like this coworker did who lost 30 pounds. She kind of inspired me. And so I remember now I went out and I actually hired a nutritionist at the time to go ahead and calculate my calories and do my fitness program for me. And it was a service that they had in the old days for sport nutrition. It was called IntraFit in Pasadena, and I noticed it was out of business now when I looked for it online. But anyway, that was the program that I started with. And so in the old days, we didn't have that Lose It app. So I had to actually buy this old spiral bound food journal, and I had to buy a food scale, and I started having to weigh and measure all my food, and they focused on the macros. So I did that. My partner at the time, my ex-husband, he starts coming home for the first time in never with all these cakes, cookies, sweets. Like, I was like, what are you doing here? Ice cream, because I'm an ice cream monster. I freaking love ice cream. It's very hard for me to not eat the whole gallon if it's even in the freezer. My self-control is not that great for ice cream. It's just best if I only eat it out in the parking lot at the grocery store in my car and never bring it home, because I can't be trusted around any ice cream. I will just eat it. I'll eat it all. I'll eat a whole gallon. That's how bad it is. I'll binge on it just because I never really let myself have too much of it. And so when I get it, it's such a treat that I think, oh boy, I'm going to have to really work out tomorrow and work this off. And so anyway, he starts bringing home all of this. And I thought, is he sabotaging me? And I told him, this is not, I can't remember how many years we've been married. I think it was 7 years when I decided to go on this diet, because I remember living in that one house in LA and him pulling up with all this crap. And I thought, what are you even doing? Like, you've literally never bought cakes. You've never bought cookies on a regular basis. And we're not talking just one time that he wanted it, because I would understand just one time or 2 times. But suddenly now there's a trend where he's coming home with bags of ice cream, cookies, and cake all the time. And I'm thinking, this man don't even go grocery shopping. Like, you don't even go to the grocery store. And now you're going to the grocery store all of a sudden? Like, this is actually sabotage. And I said, you need to leave that food out in that car. You can eat it all you want, but I don't want it in the house, okay? So you can buy the cake, you can buy the cookies, just leave them in your own vehicle, okay? Don't bring them in the house. I'm on a diet, you know that, and I don't want this temptation in the house. So you can buy and eat as much as you want and get as fat as you want, but don't bring it in the house. So he was mad, but I was thinking, this is strange. Normally, men would encourage their wife to be skinny. Most men want their wife to be skinny. And I've had exes before that would be like, oh, are you sure you want to eat all that? Because they know, like, it's going to add weight on to me. I remember I had one ex, he made me 2 tacos with no tortilla. And I was like, well, where's the tortilla? It's just like a lump of, like, a taco salad or something. He's like, well, those are a lot of carbs. So I thought, okay, well, thanks for trying to help me with my fitness plan. But, they're low carb, and I'm going to go ahead and eat 2 corn tortillas. I'm not just going to eat that with a spoon. But I appreciate your thought. So this ex of mine with these sweets and pastries was absolutely diabolically trying to sabotage my diet and fitness program. And I guess he liked me pleasantly plump, because he went ahead and married a second wife now, who is a very plump woman. She's definitely a 16 or 18. So I thought, okay, maybe that's what he likes. Didn't want a skinny wife. Want somebody, a little more average build, I guess you could say. But I was returning to I wanted to start modeling again. I had quit modeling and I wanted to start doing it again. It's fun. I love it. It's like one of my hobbies or passions, because it's not like you ever make that much money on it unless you're like a supermodel. But I wasn't doing it for the money. I made plenty of money in my 9-to-5 job, but I just thought I want to have some fun. And so I did. I totally dropped all the weight, and that's when I started modeling again. And that's when I was living in LA. And so I eventually did lose, I can't remember how much I lost, was like 40 pounds. But suddenly, I don't mean to sidebar and digress here on this topic. Suddenly, I absolutely incurred what they're talking about, where I ended up dropping, 30, 40 pounds, something like that. And I skinnied up again. Now I have a huge problem with my ex-husband. Now I have a huge problem with my ex-best friend. And I noticed the same thing with her. She'd go out and now she's grumbling because I guess she thought, she even flat out told me, we were out at a bar one night, hanging out. And she said, well, I don't really feel comfortable here. And I'm like, well, you've always felt comfortable before. In the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've been going out to bars and things like that. What's the problem? Oh, I just don't really like it. And I started to realize she was used to being the single hot one. And she was used to being kind of a little bit chubby. I was never real chubby, but I was just a little bit more average body type, I guess, when I had gained like 30 pounds on my frame. And I guess what size was I don't know, to give you an idea, like I might have gone up to like a 12, 14. And so usually when she knew me, I think I was like about a 12, 14 or something like that. So she knew me 5'11", 12, 14. It's certainly pretty slim, but it's not model skinny. But now I was dropping down to like 140 pounds, being 5'11", which is really the weight that I was used to being for my whole life. I weighed about 125 pounds. I was like 5'11". I could eat anything I wanted. I had no issue at all with food. I was playing sports. I was working out because I love it, not because I was trying to, achieve any kind of diet and fitness program. I just was literally having fun with myself, and that's kind of the lifestyle that I like, that makes me feel good. And I love playing sports and love being in a sport. In fact, when I'm not in one, I miss it. Like right now, I miss it because I'm not in a sport and I'm a little bit older. So I was like, wow, I'd love to be on the tennis team, but now, I got a back and knee issue. So it's like, I can't really play tennis right now. But, that's just the way it goes. But anyway, she started having a big problem with me. She started getting jealous. She started getting envious. She started not inviting me places. She started hanging out with this other friend and having a sourpuss attitude a lot of times. And I couldn't figure out why. It wasn't until like these last 2-3 years, I was kind of reflecting on a lot of things that I've been watching on videos lately, because the thought of jealousy wasn't really something that ever crossed my mind. People really have a problem when you level up. I also had this happen to me. People have a problem when you go back to college as well. If you go back to college and you want to improve yourself, people have a huge problem with it. Kiss your friends goodbye. I remember I went back and got my master's degree, which I put another video about that. I lost so many friends. Like I had been hanging out with all those church friends in LA for a while. I had a few different groups of friends, but everybody had a problem. Like even a longtime friend that I'd known for over 15 years, she had a problem. And she even had her master's degree. The whole time I knew her, she had her master's degree. I only had my bachelor's degree. And I was fine with that. If you have an advanced degree, I don't really care. I'm if you lose more weight and you're skinny than me, I don't care. If you have an advanced degree more than me, I don't care. I had a friend in high school, my two best friends that both moved back east. One of them is now a doctor, geologist, when I kind of looked her up, and I had, friended a couple of them that I used to be friends with just on social media. And I was looking and she is now a doctor. Now, she was always the smartest of all three of us. She got a national award, I think, for top 1% in the nation for her test scores or something like that, and was awarded in an assembly. And me and my other friend were so happy for her. We never had a problem with that. But I noticed there are so many people that have a problem with you leveling up. I remember way back then, now she was absolutely getting, the best test scores in math. Like we were in, I think it was advanced trigonometry together. And she was getting 100% and 99% on her tests. And I was sat behind her and I'm like flunking everything. Like, why the hell am I in advanced trigonometry? I will literally never be an architect, an aerospace engineer like my grandpa. I will never use this math. Like, I don't even know what it is. I don't know really what it's used for, but I know I don't like it and I don't want to study it and I don't really care. So I remember I dropped out of that class, but I was happy for my friend who was getting the straight A's and the 99%. And it just wasn't my cup of tea, but it is hers because now she's a doctor of geology. and a college professor. So good for her. We're all different. And so, but a lot of people are fake friends. They do not want you to level up. Oh, I was going to get back to that story I was going to tell. And I remember back in high school, I was in this other topic because I do really good in like English classes or any kind of like history or, all the non-math classes, like any class that's a non-math, non-chemistry or non-accounting class. Like I do really good in that. I get A's. But if it's those classes, I'm going to get like F's and D's because I'm terrible in math. So I remember always getting an A, and they used to only give out like 3 A's on the curve, grading on the curve. And I remember coming out of a class because I got the A, and I got complaints. Like 5 acquaintances surrounded me, and they're like, will you stop getting A's? Like, make sure you start missing 5 or 10 questions on the test, because you're ruining the curve. You're ruining the curve. And I was like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to miss questions on a test because you're too lazy to study. I mean, give me a break here. If anything, I had a lot of tough situations in my life, and I'm also in sports, and I have limited time to study. And your lazy butt is got, a 2-parent household and living in a beautiful home, and you don't even have to have a job. You're not in sports. And are you telling me you really are so lazy that you can't study and you could hire a tutor if you wanted, and you're trying to tell me to tone it down? Oh my gosh, like don't even get me started. So I did go off on them. Like what I'm saying to you right now is actually the nicer version of what I went off on them for saying that to me. It's like, you go study. But one YouTuber I watch, he describes it as the saying, like, if you see someone else with a taller building, you want to have, this jealous person wants to have the tallest building. And so instead of improving their building and adding more stories onto their building, if it's 10 stories, add 15 stories, because now this other person that used to have 3 stories on their building, they went up to 10 stories, and now they're matching you, or they even went to 12 stories. When you are starting out your level up journey, then get to work. You really have to decide right now and build more stories up to 15 if that is even important to you, if you even care. But that's not what they do. They try to wreck your little achieve the success building that's right for you, and so that you can't add any stories. They want to demolish and destroy your building, even if you have to be single for a while without any friends to hang out with, and just totally focus up on your level up journey, and then get some new friends when you finally are leveled up. I remember I had an old, it was actually an acting teacher who said that, like, if you want to achieve A, B, C, and D in your life, and he had been a child star and a teen star in some major movies, he said, decide right now that you're just going to let the friends go. Anybody who shows any sign of giving you some troll comments or is not really happy for your journey right now and expressing a lot of doubt or I'm just concerned or anything like that, where they're not really for you or for the direction you want to go, he said, you might as well just start distancing yourself right now, because they're definitely going to be a problem when you get to where you're going, and they're going to try to prevent you from that. And so that might leave you friendless for a while or very small circle, but he said, decide right now. And so I just wanted to, throw that out there, that sometimes these people got to go. And people who are not happy for you, they're not your genuine friends anyway. They're not your people, because they want a leveled down version of you. And as you move up, they're not going to be happy with the leveled up you, and they don't want to also level up. And I actually have had a friend in the past who wanted to also level up. She also increased certain things, like she lost weight, and, she wanted to work on like finances and getting a house and making a lot of improvements. And so that was great. We're on a similar journey. We're happy for each other. And I have had friends that are very, very supportive, and some coworkers too that were my friends that were extremely happy and for my leveling up and for purchasing, like a house or getting a new car or a new purse or losing weight or whatever it was. Those people are out there, but we got to just go ahead and let go of these people that are trying to hold us back, because, 10, 15 years from now, they may not be in your life anymore, or they might have leveled themselves up on their own and stolen everything you were going to do anyways, and they're not even going to be your friend anymore. So it's really not worth the sacrifice to stay at the leveled down mediocre version of yourself and get those, C's in class and be that pudgy self and not go get that education that makes everybody angry. You really need to just put your makeup on and go ahead and be your best self, basically, and let these people go. They're really not your friends. They're fake friends. And we're not really sure why they're still trying to hang out with you anyways. Like, what are you even doing here if you don't want to level up? And basically, they're lazy and undisciplined. They don't even want to improve themselves. So it's like their character is really not even that good. So anyway, that is about what I wanted to say for today's topic. And I have a lot of other topics, quite a few right now in the queue that I want to work on. So I will put those up here soon. So anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for going to the end of this huge video. And I hope you're doing great. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.